Welcome to the podcast.
You were talking about something involving performing autopsies on babies.
What?
It was apropos.
And then we were
Alright.
talking about performing autopsies on other people, and Robert said it was gross, and you said, but what if it was a hot girl? And then he said, what the fuck are you talking about? And then we started talking about new holes.
Baby?
No.
It's completely out of context.
Hot girl performing an autopsy.
Every
on
bit
a
of that
baby.
is completely out of context.
No, a hot girl.
Ugh.
Who's ready for a
Pod.
Games, video 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 games.
It's the eve of the Ides of June 2010, and this is the Idle Thumbs Podcast 8.
And I'm Chris Remo.
And I'm Nick Breckon.
I'm Steve Gaynor.
And I'm Jake Rodkin.
Oh, hey.
Hey,
And I'm Nick Breckon.
we're here to talk about video games with no guests.
Oh, well, I mean, except for Famous Vanaman. But other than that, nobody.
Yeah, he's
Except-
not
Yeah, they
notable,
can't
though.
hear
Except
your
for
smile,
a
Sean. They
recording
you
of-
have to talk.
I'm beaming. Hi, guys.
You were beaming.
I wasn't here, and then Jake said I could be here, now I'm here. So we're joined by somebody else, I think.
And I'm Nick Breckon.
Yeah, somebody better.
Yeah,
Oh,
Much.
shit.
better man than any of us.
Yeah.
Fuck Nick Breckon.
And I'm Nick Breckon.
Who's joining us via
Oh, yeah, I thought he was in the
6-day
room.
tape delay.
Yeah, he's not here actually, so that was.
But he's live to tape.
We'll be playing an MP3 of Nick's voice into your ears later today.
Yeah.
So look forward to that.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Now,
Don't touch that dial.
Mark your calendars.
For the sides of this episode.
So now we're going to talk about games
Video games.
because we
Ooh.
got some stuff to talk about. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Don't we?
I think we
Well, I
probably
walked
do.
in and I said, "What's everybody playing?" And everybody said,
But then you said, "Oh shit, E3 is coming up, and E3 is fucking back this year. This is the
Oh.
year of E3."
Is this the
That's
year of
true.
E3?
I hear that there's
Yeah,
it's a
some
year of
there's-
E3.
Well, it's there's shit going down. There's
"It's rising like a phoenix."
There's like the future of game. The fucking thing we've been waiting for now forever. The
Is
future of
this
games
the year
begins.
of the future?
Well, this
It
is when
is?
the future starts to become real. It's like the moment
Why?
where we.
So we're on the cusp right now
we're on the-
today.
yes.
precipice.
We're at the tipping point?
Yes.
How do you know?
Well, we've got the world premiere of the Microsoft Natal Deluxe.
Oh.
and
Is it called the
Sony
Natal Deluxe?
Move-a-thon.
Oh, I see.
presented
I
by
see.
Cirque du Soleil.
That's true.
Yeah,
It is.
That's gonna be great.
So, the future will become
That's right.
slowly
happening?
peeled like an onion. in
And
front of our eyes.
Nintendo's
Over.
got that.
There would be a tiny Korean man inside? Am I remembering the right thing?
What are you talking about?
This outmeans everybody
Steve's
here.
talking about the new Nintendo peripheral, the tiny Korean man inside.
I'm remembering back when you guys were
That's how
talking.
the horse bag works.
You guys were talking about like StarCraft, and within each layer of the strategy of the game, you peeled them back until there was one tiny Korean man inside,
The Russian dolls.
like an onion.
Yeah.
The Russian onion that is StarCraft 2 featuring Korean man. It's multicultural.
Yeah,
Onion.
it's a melting pot.
It is that.
E3, I mean,
Not
of different
StarCraft.
video game publishers
It's a melting pot of white nerds hanging out in
from
a
different
convention
video
center.
game companies.
There's some girls there.
That's true.
They're paid.
You said white nerds, not white male nerds.
Well, it is white male nerds.
Jake, you
so-
kind of jumped to a conclusion there.
You jumped to the correct
it's
conclusion.
pretty
All
much
right, but-
dudes.
Oops, all dudes.
It's pretty much dudes.
No, it's not. Oops, it's by design.
You're right.
The third E stands for dudes.
So, did you guys see that crazy Rock Band 3 stuff?
Oh yes.
I heard that they're going to
This is a current
use
news that's being
real
used.
Real
instruments.
I heard they're going to
Yeah.
use real. Oh, Rock Band 3. I thought you were talking about Guitar Hero : It's not Brutal Legend actually.
Oh, right. Well, that's
That's a
also
different
in
thing.
news.
No, those are
Yeah,
two
what
things.
if
Explain that.
So there's,
Sorry, I
there's
mistook
two,
great
two
things.
big music game announcements. One
One
is
really cool, one also cool but different cool because we're gonna make fun of it for a minute. Which is great.
So
But yeah, I hear that there's this new game published by Activision about how you can get sucked into a crazy fantasy world derived from rock and heavy metal, and then you fight crazy demons and stuff using the power of rock. It's called Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero :
Legends or Warriors of Rock or something.
Oh, Warriors
of Rock. I
yeah.
think.
If it was Legends of
Warriors-
Rock, that
yeah.
would be murderous.
Yeah.
Brutal Legends of Rock.
Parentheses, they are brutal.
Legends of Rock, which have
Brutality.
which are rumored to be
That's
brutal.
special moves.
That's true. Anyway, so that's a terrible
So
thing. That's false.
that's the thing.
I don't know about the Rock Band 3 thing, so you can tell me about that.
It's
Well,
the
they're
coolest.
adding like on the most basic level, they're adding keyboards this time. And
How does that
since
work? Is it like
it's
is it just
an actual
like
keyboard?
88 key piano?
No, it's a 21.
25.
It's a 25. Yeah, 25 key.
It's between 21 and 25 keys, up to 25 keys.
It's a keytar.
Depends on what
like,
marketing
you,
says.
you can play it either in normal mode where it's just it uses the middle 5 keys and they're colored like
It's
on
like
the guitar.
do 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 do. Like
Right.
that's hilarious.
Dude.
Well, no, I mean they're just mapped to what it's like the guitar. They're not
That's true.
specific.
You can play
notes.
Keyboard Cat with it. That's Rock Band Network will feature Keyboard Cat on day one.
I guarantee this.
And
I mean, it's going to ship with it.
That's true. It's the unlockable song. Fuck Dragon Force or Trogdor or whatever.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. And then,
Yeah. Yeah, they got drums and everything.
but so anyway, there's a keyboard.
Now I'm
Yeah.
excited
So,
about
yeah,
Rock
but
Band
It's like
3. I
a
wasn't
legit
before.
keyboard.
Yeah,
It's like a legit MIDI keyboard.
Yeah, and you can play on Pro mode, and you will actually be note for note what it is, just like the drums.
So it's like the Miracle Piano System. What, no one had it's okay. My friend had that. It's a MIDI keyboard you could plug into your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Wait, really?
Yeah, teach you how to play the piano.
That sounds crazy.
I sense a copyright infringement.
Oh, there were
It's
some
great.
commercials. They're the kind of commercials that end with the blue screen with the yellow 800 number telling you
Right.
about the Miracle Piano System.
Can you order it from Nebraska?
I don't know, but it did have the seal of quality, so it wasn't some Tenjin shit.
Right. Yeah, but so and then they're actually releasing also an actual Squier Stratocaster guitar, like
That just has a little
full-on
Xbox icon
actual
on it.
real guitar. They I don't think they've shown it yet, or maybe they have, but not in detail. But it's a fucking guitar that you can plug into an amp and play, or plug into Rock Band 3 and play the actual song with the actual notes.
So
on it.
Harmonix is living up to their
Yeah.
30-year goal
They're
of
like
being
pursuing their actual
Yeah,
mission. Yeah,
that's-
it's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well played, them.
And they're adding more cymbals and stuff to the drums so that you can actually do a hi-hat for real instead of like playing the same thing on. I mean, all the old instruments will still work with Rock Band 3,
It'll just be worthless.
but what's cool is that all the new drum stuff, they already have been coding that data into Rock Band
Yeah,
songs.
it uses the full MIDI like percussion language or whatever.
And so
right?
so that won't work for the new instruments like the keyboard specifically, but for drums where it's just added functionality,
yeah, cool.
it's backwards compatible. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's really impressive. Also, there's like 2 companies trying to make an actual real guitar rhythm game, and I feel really bad for them because
Yeah, that's over
they're
for
getting
them.
fucked now.
That's a wrap, probably.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we saw one of them.
I'm
at PAX
going to
East.
learn to play one of those instruments via video game. That is my 2011
You
New
should.
Year's
Where is the
resolution.
goddamn
Possible
banjo
drums.
game?
Oh my gosh. I need to
Banjo
borrow that
Hero?
banjo from Chuck.
Yeah.
I also made a promise that I was going to learn the banjo.
Sweet.
Which is kind of video game related. It's kind of Red Dead Redemption
Banjo freaks
related.
me
We can
out.
talk about that.
I really would like to learn how to play it, but it's
You have to
weird compared to a guitar.
you have to make a crab claw. It's really good radio, by the way. It's me making a hand in front of your face.
That's true.
but-
I like
have to
seeing
make
it. Let me
this
just tell you,
crab
readers,
claw.
he made a cool hand. So
He did. It was like a crab.
They call
my
him
word
Cool
for it.
Hand Vanaman.
Oh man.
I'm in.
I wish they did.
Is there anything else of note that's surrounding the Electronic 3?
E3?
I
Zelda
mean,
Wii.
yeah, I
keep saying
guess
that
so.
on
It's
yeah.
going to be Zelda like you've never. I don't. It's going to be exactly like the other Zelda. No, it's streamlined for dumb.
in HD.
I'm curious to see what the fuck it is because that Miyamoto has been like, we realize Zelda's really hard. It's like, what? But then it's like, oh no, but it's still going to be the same Zelda game. Like, what? You can't. Oh, so we'll see what that is.
well, they're just going to add in the video tutorial thing.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, right. To
And then
solve the
that
game
fixes
for you.
it.
Hey, listen, loading Bink. Like what? Yeah, that's true. That could happen.
Hey, Navi just shows up and gives you the little video.
Why does Navi make the baboo?
Oh,
She kind of makes a bird noise.
Yeah, she does. Like she does that little thing over your
Okay,
head.
that's true. Anyway, that's
She
happening.
turns into a video of how to play the game.
the fairy just. Oh god,
An MPEG.
an MPEG appears.
but only in
For
40,
textures,
40p.
stretches out to fill the screen.
Yeah, I sort of like a mouth opens that contains an MPEG that sort of slowly scales up over the
Right.
course of 2 seconds to fill your monitor. And then it zooms in and it turns into that infinite looping like Hasselhoff crotch gif or whatever that is.
Anyway,
on the
so
internet.
that's probably going to be what happens at Nintendo's E3
That sounds
press
like
conference.
that would be like Zelda, like I've never seen before.
That's true.
Miyamoto was right.
My mind was blown.
And then we'll see what Natal is called and what it looks like.
Oh, it's not going to be called Natal?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Xbox 2.
I feel like they got so much traction with Natal as a word.
That's what everyone thought about the Nintendo
Nintendo Revolution. So they're going to call it the
Natal.
Wii. It's going to be a little bold.
Microsoft Wii.
they're gonna call it the Microsoft Hey.
Has everyone seen the video of
and
the?
it's going to make that emoticon. hey!
Has everyone seen the video of the parade people playing?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That looks so cool.
Future of games.
Your
I
two
like that the
kids can just
future-
dance around in the front and the game keeps going.
Mom can kick one in the back and he almost falls over. Oh.
Well, your mom can just do a mom dance and
Oh,
successfully
Mom.
play the games. So,
Come on, kids, move more.
That's a
Move.
mom dance, and Natal
Keep
also
moving.
detects mom pants for 2x multiplier.
Come on, kids, keep moving. Keep dancing. Yeah, keep moving. Move more.
That's more!
Ballmer appears if your dad isn't sufficiently encouraging.
Virtual Ballmer?
Yeah, Richard Ballmer.
Dance! Jesus, Ballmer.
Jake is doing a monkey dance as Ballmer.
What? Ballmer's got those beach volleyball physics going on.
That's true.
What? And
What?
The DOA beach volleyball
He is-
bounce physics. Yeah.
Ballmer should support that.
What are you talking
With what, his
about?
large man boob?
Yeah! I can imagine a realistically rendered Ballmer.
That's probably true.
Sorry, this is like...
I
gonna
can
print out a
imagine
voice,
a
they're smiling.
realistically. I can imagine a realistically rendered Ballmer.
What, like a super normal mapped Ballmer?
Is his shirt off?
No, what? Where are you going with this?
I don't
He's
know.
clearly wearing 360 avatar clothes.
Oh, right. That's true.
That wouldn't be especially realistic.
Well, but they're then right at the neckline though. it
It's just
gets
his extremely
fucking
realistic
like
head.
300 different maps are applied to make sure. Yeah, Shader City above the neckline.
E3 sounds like it's going to be really good.
No,
Yeah, it's great. It's
does
supposed to
anyone
be.
have any actual E3 facts?
XCOM's going to be at E3.
Are you going to be there, Steve?
No,
Presenting XCOM?
Steve Ganner is XCOM.
no.
Oh, okay, just regular XCOM.
the excellent calm.
So other than Steve's bullshit.
Mm-mm. I got nothing to do with XCOM yet,
Oh yeah, that's true.
so leave me out of it.
Mm.
Someday I will touch an XCOM, but I'm
That
looking
day is
forward.
Today
not
is not that day.
Yeah, today is not that day. Today I'm touching a
Well, I think people are looking
podcast with
forward
my
to it.
voice,
That's true.
and
Sweet.
through the podcast, my voice is touching your ears, readers. I hope that's fine.
That's also true.
That's
What are you looking forward to at E3? I mean, you're going to be interviewing a bunch of people and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Journalism.
We should get together and interview each other, maybe.
That's true. We should do
That'd
that.
be great.
Aside from
Sorry.
Sean, quote unquote, famous Vanaman, what are you gonna be doing? You gonna be seeing some cool games?
Probably.
Talking to some cool game developers?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah?
I don't know. If my
Chris, what are you
schedule
going to
is
do at
off
E3?
the top of
Be
my head.
chasing down, I don't want to use the word scoop. God, you're going to be chasing down news, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there will be press conferences.
Breaking
I
the
guess.
big-
I don't know.
big
I don't
news.
think E3 is exciting to talk about.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
okay.
Okay, well, fuck
Video
you,
games,
fuck
for
E3,
God's
Nick.
sake.
Enough talking about E3. Let's talk about games.
Yeah, I played a couple games this week. I think.
what were they like?
I mean, you've played a lot more Red Dead Redemption than I have.
Oh, I have.
You-
I've
beat-
played a few
you
hours.
beat
of
it,
Oh, yes,
Steve
you
beat
did
it.
I
You beat
finished
the
it
game.
fully.
You got the power up and won the game.
Yeah. I whooped it. How far are you into it?
I don't know. I would say 4 hours maybe.
I rode around a ranch with a lady.
Did you actually?
That sounds really
Yeah.
nice.
Have you actually played a game?
I played the first 10 minutes of Red Dead Redemption
Oh,
at someone
sweet.
else's house.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd you like the horse driving?
Not actually a huge fan of driving the horse around.
I really like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
Feels, I don't know, ridden a lot of horses in my day. Felt like, not like that, but.
I rode one horse and then it scraped up against a tree and bent my leg back and it hurt.
Ugh.
Did Red Dead Redemption accurately capture that
That
sensation?
experience?
No, but Red Dead Redemption did let me run around and silently kill everyone in the town in the middle of the night and then go home. So
Oh,
that
really?
was fun. Yeah.
It's funny you say that because
I play it like I play GTA apparently. We just
did
wait
you-
for nightfall and murder everyone over and over
Did you
again.
stab them all?
I silently knifed their throats.
Yeah.
Yeah, all throats were cut.
Right.
I cut the throat of a guy who was asleep in his bed and then just walked away scot-free and I felt really bad.
Yeah.
there's an interesting thing I think about Red Dead Redemption versus GTA, and what you just said reminded me of it because I have not done any of that stuff yet, and that might change as I play more. Who knows? But
Get angry.
You know, for the first like 4 or 5 hours that I've played, the interesting thing is, I was like, all right, I haven't done anything super violent. I haven't really gone on any rampages. I wonder why that is. And I came to a few And I'm like, that seems kind of odd because this is it depicts a more lawless society, at least in theory, than like the modern day. So you'd think I would have fewer compulsions about.
But this is what you said about
compunctions
GTA 4 as well. You roleplayed the shit out of GTA 4.
Yeah, but it's almost impossible in GTA to avoid crashing into a bunch of stuff and accidentally killing pedestrians and like, I mean, it's
you
really,
find yourself inside of a rampage in that game.
That just happens.
And you're just blowing up cars.
It's a commentary on this modern times versus the olden
But
times,
also, it's like,
which are changing, and it's interesting that they're
That's
changing,
true.
says Dialog.
But also there's
I was informed of that.
I really disliked that in the intro. How it was just like
how interesting the times
This
were.
is the end of an era, and these interesting
yeah.
times we're in.
it was
This
it
old
was a
west.
little-
It's like the olden west. It's like we're in olden times.
Yeah.
There's kind of weirdly like pockets of that throughout the game. It's
Yeah, I can
strange.
tell.
There's
yeah.
one writer who's just like, I can't remember if I wrote about if it's olden times and if we're on the
Can't
cusp of a
remember
new
if
era.
If we're worried about the federal government what about those Indians?
Native Americans.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
please, Chris.
Yeah.
That'd be nice if they called them Native Americans, but still there was just crazy Jew-hating shopkeeper. And everyone else was like, it's African American.
They don't get around to talking about them for a while, but when they do, they call them savages.
The Native Americans?
Yeah.
Well, they talk about them a lot in the intro. That was what I was mainly thinking of.
I was like,
You skipped that cutscene.
I was looking at Twitter during that intro. I wasn't.
Okay, because the
I knew what was
intro
happening.
is the heaviest
It was-
handed dialogue
yeah.
I've seen in the entire game so far.
There will continue to be more. Like it's weird. Like it really does kind of feel like there was a writer who wrote like really literally, and it was like the intro and
I love this video game.
and a lot of the time like
Telltale version.
Bonnie is like a really weird like
Yeah, she
character.
fluctuates a lot.
She doesn't fluctuate very much. She's just like really kind of, I don't know, stiff, like she just kind of says things, like not much like a character. It's very kind of expositional. And then later on at a couple of key points there's more stuff like that where it's just like, wait, people were talking like humans in the last mission, and then this one they're just sort of like stating facts about what's going on in the story. It's odd. But, it's such a big game with so much content. It's not really surprising, I guess, that the approach differs.
Oh, of course. That happens often.
Whenever
throughout
anybody
more
talks about
games.
the dialogue, I feel like Bonnie's name comes up. That's the name I keep hearing.
It's because her dialogue is really weird.
Yeah.
And then you'll play another mission like with the sheriff of the town or something, and the dialogue is really good.
Yeah,
and
some of the dialogue
naturalistic.
is great, and some of the voice acting is fantastic.
It's like, yeah, so it just
my dad wrote
it
all the
varies.
dialogue with
For Bonnie.
So
Oh, wow. Your dad's a bad. I haven't played any of it, so I have no say.
Yeah.
I mean, I have played it, but I played
you rode a horse.
only multiplayer with my little sister. Yeah.
Ah.
So that was cool. But
Oh yeah, on comedy game setup.
on Hilarious, her and her boyfriend have two 65-inch TVs next to each other with Xboxes hooked up, so it makes
So that you
one.
just ride a horse side by side in real time on two giant TVs.
Yeah, it's really
That's kind of awesome.
It's
It's
really
hilarious.
it's in like the couch is really comfy, so you're like kind of like nestled in
it's
there.
like a horse.
It's crazy. Well, you're looking at
Close as you can
essentially,
get without a horse
especially when you're
bag.
riding next to each other. There's an overlap, but like the landscape when you're riding next to each other, like Siobhan, that's my sister. We were bumping into each other like on the horses, but like the landscape is amazing. You're literally looking at 9 feet of high definition Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
and then like I'm stopping to kill armadillos. But it was awesome. It was really really fun. Yeah,
And your sister's name is Siobhan?
Siobhan.
It's so Sean and Siobhan.
Yeah, that was never confusing. Siobhan! Was that you? Me? I don't know. Let's not go.
How are you?
Well, your mom called you Siobhan with an apostrophe in there. It was fucking stupid.
Hey.
What horsebag? Horsebag, Mrs. Vanaman.
I knew two girls in college who their parents' names were Robin and Lynn, and their names were Linnell and Robinell.
Worst.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god.
a head explode.
Yep.
Oh, I don't like that at all. But,
Real
you know, I'm
story.
sure they're nice. I'm sure they're good people. I'm sure they're narcissists. Anyway. What? I don't know. You name your kids after you? It's
You name your
bold.
kid's a mutant version of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like anything about that. But I guess, the game, and this is the criticism I think of the multiplayer from what I've heard, is that while the first person or the single player feels really kind of robust and alive, that the multiplayer kind of falls a little flat.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun, but it was more like we are just trying to figure out ways to, kill a bunch of mans at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's more like, okay, you go around the back and I'll go in here and we'll
Yeah.
shoot people, but less you walk into town and it might as well be a ghost town full
Yeah.
of empty AI.
And that's exactly how it. Yeah, so like multiplayer is just a reduced version of single player, and yeah, single player you just feel much more a part of a world. There's just like so many more systems that are in action at any
concert.
given time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have those guys turning into donkeys, which seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah,
also
you
the
have
bird people.
scary Birdman.
Yeah.
You may have Cougarman. If
Cougarman.
you're
Yeah, I
lucky.
saw that on the back of the box. Sweet. Selling point.
That's true.
1 out of every 300 games randomly rolls for the presence of Cougarman.
But,
I still don't have any idea how those bugs are caused, but like
we were talking about it
Some
actually.
programmers at work were trying to figure out what the fuck would cause it, and no one really could. It needs a cougar, but all it has in memory is mans. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Whoops.
maybe a donkey woman.
Oh, birds flying as people is so good. And whoever made the YouTube video with the I Believe I Can Fly laid over that, well done. I approve. It was
Yeah.
very entertaining.
I
on my
congratulate
Thursday
that
afternoon.
guy.
What's going to do? Oh, I guess Steve just made a thumbs up into the microphone. Yeah!
Readers, you can't see it.
It's a
but-
jaguar sound.
That sound is so fucking hilarious. That stupid
Especially when it precedes your horse getting killed in Red Dead Redemption by a quarter of a second.
That was my introduction.
Huh?
So it's
I guess.
The only thing to tell you why your horse just ragdolled is that sound. Like, huh? Why'd my horse just fall over?
oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
what else are you playing, Chris?
Well, I didn't finish the point I was making.
Yeah, yeah.
earlier.
Well,
So anyway,
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Were you here earlier?
I was here for a minute.
Oh, okay. You're back though.
Yeah,
Great.
I went
Sorry.
somewhere.
Somebody cut you off
How's the
during an
redemption?
So, Cougarman.
I kind of forget what I was saying.
You were
but
talking about why you didn't do
right.
ultra violence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the Old
Well,
West.
You're
Yeah.
making a good point.
the
Until we did our thing.
yeah, it's a less. I mean, I don't know. For one thing, the game takes itself a little more seriously than GTA does. I would, at least where I am in the game, like there isn't a lot of just outrageousness being thrown in your face like there is in GTA, even in GTA 4.
No crazy
frequently.
sunglasses.
Yeah, sadly. But although I do go around wearing the nicest suit I can own at any given time.
Yeah, I
always.
noticed you were wearing the gentleman's
I
attire.
enjoy it. But
Actually, right now, Chris is wearing a gentleman's attire.
Yeah.
That's what Steve was referring to.
But there's a funny, like, sort of almost contradictory thing that comes up. Like the nature of the world is that, you're living on the land, it's the frontier, you just take what people live on, whatever they can get. You go out and you just take a horse, whatever. But because that's actually built into the sort of understood social contract of that world, it actually means you don't have to be a criminal just to do basic things. Whereas in GTA, just to get a car, basically you have to like
Burgle.
You have to put
rip
an
a guy
elbow
out of
through
it
a
and
window.
throw a guy. Yeah, like
And the
even,
car alarm
even
goes
just
off.
to
It's
get
illicit.
the most basic unit of transportation in that game, you have to break a law. Which doesn't make any sense but it's because no one in that game makes you want to go to a
No
car
way,
dealership.
you could just,
and
in
like,
GTA 4, you can drive your cousin's car for the entire game, probably, until someone says,
I think
drive
there are
my
missions that
Lamborghini.
require you, but anyway.
Yeah, you have to get into the other cars for missions.
But yeah, but I
No.
thought that was interesting in Red Dead Redemption. It took me a while to realize why that was the case, and then once I did, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just
Oh,
because
yeah, it's a lawless society.
this is just a place where you just go out and lasso a horse, and that's what you do. You do that in this time or this era. So
Whereas I only ever used my own horse because you can whistle to
and
like,
that too, right? Exactly. Yeah,
which I fucking love because like
it's really cool.
yeah, basically you have a horse and once you hitch it, it becomes your horse, and then if you get separated from your horse or if it's just 20 feet away or something and you want it to come to you, you whistle and it will come to you. But that's true always, forever. So you can get on some guy's stagecoach for a mission and ride to the other side of the frontier or whatever and get out and the mission ends and your horse is nowhere to be seen and you're just like, and then you turn around and your horse is just galloping over the horizon.
Yeah. Hey,
dude.
It implies this fiction of like your horse is just sort of secretly following you everywhere you go.
It's like that ninja cat in that video. If you
Yeah, it's Ninja Cat. The other thing
have
is
you guys
great.
seen the Sherlock Holmes video
Oh yeah,
of Watson
yes.
being that guy?
I watched
Okay, so there's this adventure game that came out 2 years ago, Sherlock Holmes Nemesis, and I guess they didn't want to animate Watson. Like, it's a first-person game. It's first-person
Oh, shit, so
Sherlock
like
Holmes.
you look away and look back and he's
And
closer?
he's closer, yeah.
No!
It's an amazing video. Someone just took like 5 minutes of video of just walking around this museum and looking at Watson and then kind of stepping behind a pillar and then turning around and he's like 2 inches away from you in front of your face. And then you look, it's amazing. Look up like creepy Watson, Sherlock Holmes Nemesis. It's amazing. So that's the whole technology that Rockstar licensed.
Yes.
Yeah.
To make the horse.
Creepy
Yeah,
horse.
exactly.
The horse
added
is powered by creep. This, NVIDIA, the way it's meant to be played. Creepy horse. Creepy Watson.
Creepy Watson sounds like a middleware.
It uses
it
Creepy
does.
Watson technology.
yeah.
Yeah. The
Superior middleware.
the other great thing about that is like if there's a certain kind of horse that you always want to have, you can buy a deed for it at a
horse
general
kit.
store. Yeah, it's like a little certificate that
deed.
says you own this kind of
Yeah, you
deed.
buy
It's a
that
horse
horse
deed.
deed.
It's a horse deed.
Deed
and,
horse.
And so like, if you have this horse deed in your inventory, basically you can use it at any time to summon that kind of horse. But so like you'll just jump on some other horse, and once you've jumped on it, it becomes yours until you get
then
on
you
another
open
one.
up the horse
and,
deed?
Well, but you get on the horse and you ride it somewhere, and then you jump off and use the horse deed, to summon your other horse. And so like the first horse just immediately just runs off into the distance. It's like, oh fuck, I'm out of here. I hate you now. I hate you and your horse deed. And then the other horse spawns it off screen and like runs in and stands in front of me. So it's just this great thing of the horse just like, oh shit.
Sorry. I didn't know you had that horse deed.
Yeah.
That reminds me of
There's
the first-
weird, surreal shit. I mean, like, that's what that great story that Michael Abbott wrote on brainygamer.com was about.
Really,
like, basically,
really good.
because this is an open world game based on GTA, there's sort of a lot of video game logic in it. Because, like, the game cycles day and night and all that stuff, but it also basically has to be static forever. Like, if there's a shopkeeper in some store, there's always going to be a shopkeeper in that store. But you can kill a shopkeeper in the store, so how do they deal with that, right? And so, like, Michael Abbott wrote this story about in the town of Armadillo, the shopkeeper is this like, you come in and he's like, how can I do for you? And you buy something. And he's like, no goods made by Jews in this store. And you're like, what? and
If you're Michael Abbott.
yeah. And so Michael Abbott was like, that's not cool. And he went to buy something else.
Abbott-doo-scoodle-doop. Brown out just...
Anyway, he went to...
What? All the lights in your house turned off for a second. Is everything okay?
No, they didn't. The screensaver just
That's called a
started.
screensaver,
This is
Jake.
how the lights have been the whole
The
time.
power outage happened and we're not on the air anymore.
Screensaver.
Guys, hello?
Everything's cool.
Wait,
Look,
Sean, I can't see you.
the levels are still going.
Steve, are you around?
Everything, oh, look at that. Chris brought it back.
Thanks, Chris. I was worried that the podcast stopped recording when all the lights in the house went out.
Except for the
Except
lights
for all the other lights that
one
aren't
probably
that
flickered
screen.
for a second. And
The
then turned
only
back
light.
on.
No, there are two lights.
You guys, it's okay.
So he goes into the shop in Armadillo, and the shopkeeper just, you'll buy something from him, and he'll say something anti-Semitic, and he's like, what is this? And he just basically got tired of the guy being an asshole, and so he blew him away. And, the cops came, and he, like, gave up and went to jail. And when he went back, the shopkeeper was there again, just, like, immediately. He was like, all right, anti-Semitic
No, wasn't
shopkeeper
the
that I
shopkeep
hate.
closed, but then it reopened the next day or something like that?
Well, he had gone to jail, so
jail.
some days pass or whatever,
Typical.
and so he comes back and shoots him again. And this time, since he had done it more than once, it's like, you killed the shopkeeper. You'll have to wait 5 days before this shop will be open again.
before this shopkeeper rises from his grave.
Yeah, essentially.
Before
it was
Lazarus
like,
here.
yeah, you'll have to wait 5 days to visit this shop again. And so he was like, oh well, okay, maybe they'll spawn some other kind of shopkeeper now that they acknowledge this guy is dead. So he went off and did some stuff and came back 5 days later, and it's just the same guy, like, no Jews in my store. And so he basically like made part of his game narrative like some Groundhog's Day thing of he would go about his business, and every 5 days he would come back and just like blow the guy away, like hog tie him and drag him out in the middle of the street and then shotgun him or whatever. And it just became like his little ritual of like, hey buddy, be back in 5, see ya.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
God,
fucking
so
wonderful.
good. It's
And
so
his
fucked
write up
up.
of it is way better
It's
than my
really,
summary.
really great.
But it's like just this collision of sort of like your real world perception of the events and sort of the wrapper around this whole thing, and then the weird video game logic of just like perpetual. I don't know. It is awesome. Stuff like that happens in that game and makes me laugh.
So something reminded you of something earlier, Chris, and I can't remember what it was, but it might have involved...
Oh, we kind of moved off the topic, but
we'll bring it back for you.
well, this is not a good story on its own. But basically, because I went, for the first couple hours, not really needing to do anything outrageous or like kill any innocent people or do anything that would draw attention to me if it were happening in the real world. I kind of got to the point where you're done with all the tutorial stuff where you're on a pretty fixed path, and I'm just kind of walking around this town of Armadillo, and I see the little poker icon on the map, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna go play poker. That's sweet. And so I just started mashing on the A button so my guy would run as fast as possible. And then I started thinking about it from the NPC's perspective. Basically, they're all hanging out in this quiet saloon, just like leaned up against the bar. This guy explodes through the like little swingy door.
You guys playing poker?
Like,
Poker in here?
Yeah, knocks over like 3 prostitutes and then just like bursts through the back door and then just is completely quiet again.
I fold. I'll call.
Have you gotten the bandana yet?
No, I haven't.
You can get it at general store, I think. I don't know, but you can buy a bandana, and basically while you have it on, it makes it so your honor and fame don't change no matter what you do while you're wearing it. You can still accrue a bounty, so there's still repercussions for doing bad shit, but you can't.
They don't persist.
Yeah, well, I mean, your bounty persists. You can build up like I owe thousands of dollars, and bounty hunters will come in. Right,
yeah.
Exactly. It's not going to change your alignment, basically. And like the guys at work, like. I don't know. I always play games like that as a good character. I don't really have any need for the bandana. But I was partway through the campaign, and the guys at work were playing it during lunch, and they had gotten the bandana. And basically, if you're playing a good playthrough, but every once in a while somebody just really deserves it, it becomes this like little
There's a ritual.
This kind of emote, you know? Like I don't know. Hey, were you guys ever riding through the plains, and there's some guy that's like. They have these challenges like for different systemic stuff like hunting or whatever. And so there's this one guy who's like, "Hey, buddy, hey, I bet you can't gather herbs faster than me."
I ignored that guy because that sounded really boring.
And that was the thing. It's like the most.
So you put on the bandana.
Well, it's the most absurd.
Slowly,
It's like the most absurd one. It's like, who wants to challenge you to pick flowers faster than him? And so one of the guys at work, like his description was
in the Old West.
Yeah, his description was that like. The first time he encountered that guy, he's like, "Hey, buddy, I want you to come pick some herbs." And he just like, and just like shot him down like in mid sentence. He's like, "Don't you ever tell me to pick herbs faster than you, boy." But so that kind of story had gone around the office, and they were playing at lunch and encountered one of those guys, and the guy playing just like sort of stood in front of him, and then just like very deliberately like took the bandana out and put it on like right in his face, and he takes the lasso and lassos the guy, and you know this is always at like a camp, and he lassos him and drags him through his own campfire, and the guy catches on fire and burns to death, and then he just takes the bandana back off. But I found that to be really useful because like I was playing poker in Blackwater, like the city near the end of the game, sort of the biggest city in the game. And I sit down and, you know, I'm having this like kind of bluffing war with some dude. You know, we keep raising the stakes and he goes all in and I go all in. And I had like, I don't know, like 2 pair or something like that, like aces high. And he has a full house and it just cleans me out. And so I, you know, the animation just makes my guy stand up from the table. He's like, "Well, I guess that's it for me." And then I'm just like, bandana, like, and then I just dead eye and, you know, put it into slow motion and pull my shotgun out and like they react to that, you know, so like in super slow motion they all like start to jump up from the table while I'm like tagging all 4 of the guys, and then it goes out slow motion, it's like blood's all over the back wall, and I just kill everyone at the table because I was pissed off about getting my money took, and then I ran away and the cops shot me. But it's just like I don't know, just there are a lot of ways to be expressive in a really satisfying way in that game, just being like a total asshole Old West man, but like that in particular, just, you know, the Old West desperado getting pissed off at the poker table and just like pulling out a 6-shooter is a total like Old West thing. I don't know. No, it's a lot of fun.
As somebody who hasn't played much, now you've still I'm there. I'll be Bandanaman. Yeah, that'll be good.
Sean Vanaman.
There's
evil. You did that.
That's not what I meant though. Go on.
Sean famous bandana man.
Yeah,
Sean Vanaman.
that's great.
A famous
bandana man.
So Chris, you were going to say something.
Sean
I was
famous.
going to say there's a much less versatile, more hilarious version of that in Alpha Protocol, which is the other game I've been playing this week. Which is that.
Yeah, how are you feeling about that game?
Well,
You're gonna give it more time?
I mean, I'm certainly giving it more time, but there are some things I know I like about it and some things I know I don't. And the things I don't is exactly kind of what I was a little disappointed about the first Mass Effect game, although this game is more inconsistent than Mass Effect. But it's basically just that the combat's not very fun at all. It's just not. They didn't do it right.
Since it's like a spy game, are you able to avoid combat very much?
Not really. The game basically it feels like I keep trying to, and you can get abilities that like turn you invisible, which is supposed to like represent your guy being so sneaky, like sort of I guess
people
Jason
can't see
Bourne like
him.
that he just fades into the shadows. Except it really just turns out you're just fucking invisible.
You're actually
Like,
invisible.
it's really
You actually
weird.
are wearing an invisibility
Yeah, but it's
cloak.
not like a
He's a
spy
ghost.
device. It's, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's just
Well, the
Well,
pitch of that
welcome
game was
to
that you
making an
could
RPG
play-
and not caring about how it fits with your fiction.
yeah, but it's weird because now the trend in this kind of action RPG is to make it ostensibly play like an action game, and just those two things don't work together to me most of the time. But anyway, but also it just doesn't feel like you have to take forever to line up a shot, and then once you do, as soon as you pull the trigger once, your reticle blows up again, and like you just can't hit anything even fucking 2 feet away. Like it's just weird. I'm sure you can level shit up, but it doesn't feel right. Anyway, the conversation stuff is really cool.
That's what I keep hearing. Is the conversation stuff is really good.
I really, really like it.
Is
and
the
there's
dialogue
actually-
any good?
Yeah, so the dialogue's kind of hit and miss, but when
Yeah.
it's good, it's a pretty good, like, kind of Bourne Supremacy, like that trilogy style of political thriller.
Because I mean,
Which is good. I mean, there's good stuff in it.
the only strong impression I have of that game is like the video trailer that they released of like the sexy German lady that has like pink sunglasses and
haven't
like the
seen
edge
that.
of her
I
bra
haven't gotten
sticking
it
out of her
yet.
shirt and stuff, and she's just like that super awful female character from stuff like this that's just like making sexual innuendo towards you while holding a really big gun constantly, and it's just like the worst thing. Like I wouldn't be able to stomach
that's
that.
Probably,
at
I haven't
all.
gotten to that yet, but that's probably bad. I'll let
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, I
probably
haven't seen
bad.
that trailer, but
You should watch the trailer. It's
maybe I will.
or
maybe I'll just wait till I get
It's
there.
a thing.
But there's a weird.
So
But no,
how
the
does the
conversation
dialogue
stuff is
stuff
good.
work in that?
Well, it's real time, which I really like. So once you
like Mass Effect or
no, Mass Effect is just once
More like-
you have infinite
Mass
time to
Effect
answer a
is
question
not
in Mass
real
Effect.
Like
time.
Oh, that's true.
In Alpha Protocol,
Oh.
there's a default. Your character will default to a response, be it like aggressive or professional or suave or whatever. I mean, the catchphrase they kept using was either Bourne or Bauer or Bond. Although it doesn't, think about it in those terms when you're playing. And if you don't select one that isn't the one that's already selected, he'll just say what's already selected. Otherwise, you have to select it by the time it gets there. And it works really well, and it makes the conversations flow in a way that actually is believable as opposed to most games.
The point of comparison I've heard is Indigo Prophecy.
Yeah,
I don't.
They had that sort of.
Yeah,
like a
that's
thing
I
with-
forgot about that.
I don't
but
think I
yeah.
ever
at the
played
end.
far enough into that game to actually do very much dialogue.
No,
but
I gave up on that game at a certain point. But I like how it works in this game, and there is a lot of genuine choice in the game. I mean, you can do things in the missions that actually affect the building narrative of the game in like genuinely meaningful ways, which is really cool. And there's a lot of cool interplay between the various handlers that talk you through their missions and earn reputation with them, and you can buy intel on missions that can help you out. I mean, there's a lot of really cool interlocking systems that I really like. It's just that, as in a lot of games that try to do this kind of thing, the just fundamental core run around and shoot guys is just janky as hell. I don't really enjoy it. But I like the other stuff enough that I'm pushing through. But anyway, there's the thing that made me think of this game in the first place off that previous discussion was that there's a really weird thing about
this shopkeeper who hates Jewish people.
There's a really weird
that's kind of fucked
quirk
up.
of this
You
game.
mean like the one from Resident Evil 4?
Oh yeah.
That guy was such an anti-Semite. I mean, you had to kind of be listening to the tone of his voice, but it was obvious.
That's true.
When he said, "What are you buying?" You knew.
Yeah.
You knew what he meant.
I'll buy that for a high price. Come on.
Steve.
So how is it like Red Dead Redemption in real life?
Well, it's not like it, but that reminded me of it.
There's a
in
lasso in it?
The character creation, you can
make a cowboy.
your guy can either be
can have a cowboy
basically a like I don't know 20-something like Gap ad douche, or you can be Fidel Castro. Like
Those are the two options.
The binary. That's it. There's no. There's no.
because-
Oh, that's not character customization. That is you select Gap ad or Castro.
Gap ad
No,
douche.
but you do
G A
like
douche.
Is there like a
do it
sliding
or
scale, like when the guy
Castro.
bulks up and the beard sort of unfurls?
Okay, no, this is how it works.
I
So
wish.
you have like 5 different skin tones, except they're all just white dudes, basically. There's like 5 different haircuts, except they're all like gelled douche. And there are a bunch of hats, and they're all basically like you could see a hipster wearing them or a Central American dictator wearing them. And then there's the beard. And that's it. Like, you've either got you've got a bearded man with a fucking douchey goatee, or you've got a fucking beard. You've got a Castro situation. And there's just no, like, so there's a few variables here. You can kind of create an amalgam of these two characters. If you don't wear a hat, but you do wear the Castro beard, you look like a hipster with a fake Castro beard. Like, because none of the
like
hairstyles...
a guy that would be riding like a fixed gear bike.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. None of the hairstyles remotely match this beard. They're all close cropped, like really modern hairstyles. None of them look like they're on the same person because they're not even the same shade of color. And so it looks like you're wearing a comedy beard.
I don't think I've seen any screenshots of anyone playing this game that didn't have the huge beard and a hat.
But when you put on a hat and dark sunglasses, that's
also
the only way to obscure
how much of a douche you look like.
Right, exactly. And at that point, you just turn into the actual Central American dictator. And so what it looks like is the CIA has basically, like, they've gone through their phase of sending in secret agents to assassinate Central American dictators, and now they're recruiting them to actually be agents and sending them to the Middle East. That's what that's how I feel when I play this game, because
you feel like you're a Central American dictator sent to the Middle East by the CIA. That isn't this game selling
they can't shoot more than one bullet in a row without missing.
Those are the only options in your character. Like, it's amazing.
I want to see it after this podcast.
I
want to create an Alpha Protocol character after this podcast, and I'll confirm this shit.
Yeah,
we'll have a pod blast where I tell our readers whether you're right or not.
Like,
yes, you can. Oh, that Obama.
I don't really. I mean,
not featured. What? What's his slogan? Yes, you
can
create.
Okay. Sorry,
a South American dictator in Alpha Protocol.
But yeah, it's a weird thing, and the game is not. It's not a goofy game, or not deliberately goofy. So
except that you look like Dude Bro from the NeoGAF game, right? Possibly.
Well, because the reason that Red Dead reminded me of this is because
Red Dead reminded.
I knew you were going to say that. Is because you can do things like in the training mission when you're learning how to throw a grenade. Nick Breckon discovered this on accident. You can sort of angle a grenade up, and it'll go through a window in the observation room and like land in your instructor's area and explode. And then he just starts screaming, and then you can pan the camera, the third person game, back around. Just look at your dark sunglasses, like beret wearing, huge beard guy staring stone faced into the camera as you hear just. It's the best thing.
That is an awesome video.
So that is what I was reminded of, and I had to explain all that to get there.
I approved of that video that Nick posted.
That's amazing. Oh, I didn't see that Nick posted that.
Yeah.
You'll surely link it in the blog.
Sure. It's on Nick's Twitter account, Ratsofatsorat.
A
very convenient thing to remember. But it's a game with stuff that makes me want to play it more. I might reach a point in it where it just gets too... I just get tired of shooting the exact same guy for the 8 millionth time.
You should probably just try to find some, golden path in the upgrade thing that just makes it super easy.
I think there are definitely those, because some of like I said, like right now I have one where I automatically turn invisible when a guy sees me if I have a thing activated, kind of. I don't really understand how it works.
That work
I don't really know. But you can keep upgrading it and get to the point where you can just turn on invisibility and just stay invisible for some period of time.
Never mind.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh,
well, it's just and like some of the
even
AI
in conversation mode, you're invisible.
Like,
hey, so I was wondering. Oh, you disappeared. I guess you're hiding really well.
Well, that's what it's like to play this game, because it just doesn't seem like the combat ever is one sort of complete system that all works together. It's like now it wants to be Metal Gear, but then you fuck up, but then you can't really.
Hey, check out that beard guy. He's gone now.
I don't know. It's just it's unfocused. The combat.
Well, even just when it says be Bauer, Bond, or Born, like those are three very complex systems,
very different systems. Yeah,
to get those to both deliver and then interlock.
Yeah,
bold.
It's difficult.
And in general, if I were to play this game, I don't know if I will anytime soon, but like knowing this,
you're playing it now.
This is a pretty cool game.
We're all about to disappear as soon as you notice us.
Where'd you guys go?
See, good job. Look at that.
Just like not actually trying to interface with any of the stealth or non-complete aggro gameplay is probably the easiest way to sort of delete those systems. Like, that's been my experience with playing System Shock 2, if you just roll a Marine and go full weapons and kill everything, you have a way easier time than trying to be a hacker with psi powers.
Well,
or like when I tried to play Deus Ex, when it first came out, I mean, I did, and I probably played it for like 20 or 30 hours and didn't finish it. And I basically quit when I had crawled through my 700th air duct and was just like tired of trying to stealth past everything and tired of having to quick save all the time because if a dude shot me or detected me, I had to reload and shit. And then years later, I was like, I think I am actually going to finish Deus Ex. And at the beginning, when they offer you, which weapon do you want? I was like,
Murderer.
I'll take the rocket launcher. And I was just like full aggro for the entire game. Way smoother sailing.
Yeah.
And so probably if you were just like, whatever, an auto shotgun and grenade man or something, you would get through this a lot more easily
No,
than
it's
trying
totally
to be
true.
invisible.
Because the thing is, in Alpha Protocol, at least with the skills I have now, and I suspect once I become fully invisible, I can get around this. But right now, it's like
gliding.
no
Once
matter
I
how-
become fully invisible.
No, it's
Alpha
like-
Protocol is actually not a game; it's a cult. Chris has joined.
But no matter how hard I try to actually pull off the stealth thing, it's not even an issue of like, oh, another duct. It's literally just like, oh, fuck me. Something happened, and now a million guys are running at me, and it's just, I guess I'll just shoot them. Why don't I just do that in the first place? Plus, all the upgrades are discreetly, or all the pickups are discreetly placed. There's like huge flashing UI things in the world all over this game, which suggests to me that someone failed in making things readable.
Or he's just borrowing the glasses from
Heavy Rain.
From Heavy Rain guy.
That's
So
true.
you know.
Oh, there's some pollen over here.
But yeah, it means that the only way
Pollen
to
here.
actually get all the money and like
Pollen here.
intel and stuff is just to eradicate everyone and then walk around the level and pick everything up. So
That's what I like
Does
to
he
do.
eat them?
no.
Is there respawning if you eradicate everyone? Do more guys appear?
No.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like
No,
that.
it works. It's just not fun. Like it's not. You know what I mean? It's not
Well, I
enjoyable
mean,
to do that.
But I don't know. Is it? I guess in Alpha Protocol, if it's not, it's not. But that's also generally
It's just
how I
that's
play
not-
stealth games.
As
Like
a spy,
when
that's not what I want to do.
I guess when I play, yeah, probably when I played like Chaos Theory, for instance, or like a Metal Gear Solid game, I will be just sneaky enough so that I can creep up behind guys and headshot them, and then I'll just like clear out everyone in the area by picking them all off one by one, and then just walk around cleaning everything up, basically. Because
That's exactly how I play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's-
haven't played
I mean,
Arkham that way.
It's way more satisfying than
Well-
leaving guys alive and having to like track them and hope they don't see you later or whatever.
I was going to mention Arkham Asylum actually because if this game, and this is a tall order. I mean, that's a really
If this game was
unusually
Arkham,
good game. But like, if that game had stealth that was more along the lines of Arkham Asylum, where it fills in a lot of those gaps for you, and just that's
The polite stealth game.
well, the blend between stealth and action in Arkham is pitch perfect.
yeah, it is.
Like,
But it's basically
and the guns are just powerful enough
Yeah.
to like, if that guy's got a gun, you're like, okay, shit, I got to treat this guy differently than that guy who doesn't have a gun.
Yeah.
and that's so rare in video games.
It is really rare,
Like,
and it's
how is that rare? But like, if
Well-
a guy has a machine gun in Arkham, it lets you know that he will f you right up, and I love that. Oh, so
well, I
good.
basically, if someone theoretically made a game that had that sort of basic combat kind of building blocks of Arkham Asylum with all of the cool dialogue and stuff of Alpha Protocol, and it was a spy, that would be a fucking success times a bajillion to me. That would be really hard, I'm
And
sure,
it
for a
was
million
a spy.
reasons. But Alpha Protocol is a straight up just mission based game. You can choose the order.
You're not in a haunted asylum of villains.
No, it's not an open world at all.
It's a who's who of villains.
But
Are
but
there
I mean,
any gargoyles?
not yet. I'm going to
Okay.
Moscow next, so maybe.
Oh,
it'll-
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
there must be.
Well,
Well, it depends.
No,
what,
not
what,
necessarily.
what year is it?
like now
Oh,
year.
the year
Gargoyle.
2014.
Present
day.
I
I
say
think it's
Gargoyle,
present day.
maybe.
Let's all agree.
It's probably present
Present
day.
day.
I'm going to assume it's like the year 2015 so that they
Oh.
can say they made up new gadgets between now
Oh, that's
and
true. So
then.
you have those bionic eyes that see drops.
Well, you also have the "Hey, you there" invisibility cloak. Apparently,
I mean, it's
No,
pretty,
that's just
it's-
his skills.
It tries to be pretty
Oh.
current. Like there's a really big defense
Like
contractor.
there's a Nokia
called,
phone.
called Halbeck, so it's it's pretty clear what they're
what's that
like
referring
the
to?
themes they're dealing with.
It's referring to the
General
BP oil
Motors.
spill.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Wow, they are on. Wow, they like have some sort of.
They predicted that actually.
oh, I thought
They
were
caused it. It's viral.
updated.
It's viral.
What? Remember that time when they talk about the junk shot in
Alpha
in Alpha Protocol? Yeah,
Weird.
it doesn't work. I just wanted to say junk shot on the
Oh, it's a
Alpha
skill. They didn't
episode.
level it up enough.
The word "junk shot" totally reminds me of taking a break. Actually,
Yeah, let's do that.
Junk
Take
shot.
one of those.
Let's
Take
take
a
a.
junk shot.
Oh, I didn't say it.
You did say it 3 times.
I said let's take a, and then I was gonna say junk shot.
Video games.
I gotta not throw any. Nothing can be within me.
That's the new theme song.
Down here at the docks, recording an on-site light idle thumbs.
Hey,
It's the HMS Jake.
Oh no, that tugboat is beatboxing.
That's my jug band jug.
Shit.
oh no! Why is that? Oh no! That'd be all fucking sweet.
Because that probably means there's something wrong with it. The tugboat isn't supposed to do
something
that.
wrong with the universe. That tugboat is beatboxing. End times. Sky rips open. That's the first sign.
Time paradox.
Yeah.
Tugboats only beatbox in the future. Fuck.
Yep. Cthulhu comes out.
Of the tugboat.
Mm-hmm. Man, I was reading. I got to the point of thinking reading Cthulhu stuff would be sweet in a super circuitous way today, because somebody linked. Maybe Lee Alexander retweeted somebody linking list of unidentified sounds on Wikipedia, and it's just stuff that submarines or something had detected these sounds, and they couldn't determine what the source was. It was too loud to be a creature, but there was no known other geological source for it or whatever. And so one of them is way down south of South America,
South America way.
well, yeah, between the south tip of South America and Antarctica, just
Fuego.
basically, I forget, there was a name for the point in the ocean that's furthest from land, and it's right near there, and there's just some weird super low frequency kind of hum sound that is coming from there that they can't identify the source for. And
the internet thinks it's Cthulhu.
Well, on the notes on it, it was in H.P. Lovecraft's short story The Call of Cthulhu, the ancient sunken city in which Cthulhu is entombed is said to be in that spot, that's the furthest spot from land, and so they're that's the sound of Cthulhu sleeping beneath the waves. And then there were excerpts talking about it being in that place. And
have you never actually just gone and read it?
I've never read any Lovecraft.
I've never read.
You should just pick up an anthology of Lovecraft short stories.
I actually have them, and I haven't read them.
Not good.
Yeah, I have an anthology too, and I've never read it.
I got the book that is Call of Cthulhu and Other Stories.
Yeah, I have that same book.
I haven't read it yet.
Video game.
Us not having any idea what we're going to talk about on the
I'm
podcast.
shitting bricks over it already.
Bricks are
being pooped.
Steve's ass is a brick factory. You're looking for an alien ship to park your bricks.
It's a brick house.
Is it a ship
crafting
that you're
one
interested
slowly.
in?
Steve's crafting a brick house?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Video game. All my music.
And now it's
all my music
talking about
class.
video games. It's making you sound like this.
Nintendo Wii's fault.
This is Phaedrus.
Phaedrus, I require money in the rocket mail. This is Phaedrus. Phaedrus here.
Phaedrus, stop calling me.
Phaedrus is your brother, Phaedrus.
Oops, all Phaedrus.
I didn't think it was Phaedrus.
Phaedrus, stop calling me. I'm sorry, Phaedrus.
The Phaedrus Christmas special. Or it's
All Phaedrus.
Phaedrus.
Hi, Phaedrus, I just was wondering if you were going to bring the pecan pie this year.
No, don't call me. I'll put it in the rocket mail. Phaedrus out.
Phaedrus out.
Don't forget to call Mom.
Don't forget to call Phaedrus. Oh, Mom.
You mean Phaedrus?
Yeah, of course I mean Phaedrus. What the fuck?
It's a fucking Phaedrus Family Reunion on this podcast.
Phaedrus.
A fucking Phaedrus
Phaedrus
family
family.
festival.
Video game.
And we're back.
Chris.
Hey,
Last time I was here,
famous.
I asked you at length about Neptune's Pride.
Oh yeah.
Have
you played that?
I've
video
been to the
game,
mountaintop.
Famous?
I've been there. I know all about.
Steve is in
Neptune's
sit back
bounty.
mode.
Yeah, Steve. We've a strategy game is
It's
meant
It's like
to.
Steve.
Steve retires.
I hate strategy, strategizing, and anyone that plays a strategy game.
Oh man.
Fuck off.
Back in the chair.
Well, he's got
He actually does physically recline when we talk about a strategy game.
It's
really
because
funny.
Steve's just
He's in-
basking in
yeah.
the strategy.
Yeah.
has leany
It's strategy
back chair.
basking more than.
It's the raise.
Steve
of,
probably emulates some of our listeners in that respect.
We're like, oh, strategy. Bask.
Well, what's funny is the second
tune out
time
and
we
start-
played Imperial,
posting on NeoGaf during that part.
you were in that chair. Actually, you were in
I'm
lean
always
back.
in this
You were in
chair.
lean back. Fuck strategy chair, playing Deadly Premonition.
That was the one that I won.
And we and
That's
then,
the only
and then
time
like
I won.
about like hour, I'll say minute 90. You're like, oh, I'm gonna beat this game now. Stood up and whooped our
Steve
asses.
just leaned into the game.
Right. Oh, sorry. I was hearing this 3-hour conversation about Marty McFly in Sheriff
And Robert
video,
Zemeckis,
in
yeah.
Sheriff Video Games Jeep. Anyway, time to own all of the fucking world of the year 2030.
If any,
Steve, what are you doing?
yeah, if any of you play Imperial 2030, I can share with you a good strategy. It's totally don't pay attention and play a video game for the first hour,
I
and
don't know
then
if you
just
should rely on this to actually be a consistent strategy.
and then just roll
it
in.
works once.
You should write an FAQ about that board game. That is that.
Let's try it again. I'll do it again. I'll play whatever you want.
Neptune's Pride.
Neptune's
I will
Pride.
not
You-
play that piece of shit
you're-
strategy game. Gosh, I hate them.
Wow, Steve, you should recline for a little while.
Yeah, it's really good.
I haven't played it. I hear it's sweet. Isn't that
Well,
right?
It's really cool.
I mean, there's a whole narrative that Jake and I can probably tell
Oh,
around. But
the Telltale Office Rule.
Yeah.
Could you
okay.
tell us a tale?
I will tell you a tall tale of Neptune's Pride, Neptune's Bounty. So I came on the podcast. We had talked about it. I'd seen you play it at your computer, and I was like, "Oh, this is something I think I would like." So we brought it to Telltale, and we quickly rounded up 8 other dudes, and we're like, "Okay, we're gonna start a game." But we realized it because it's like at any developer or any job,
Place of work. Yeah.
yeah, like you're gonna have friends.
In any building.
Like people just assume that Jake and I were going to be like, thick as thieves. So it's like, what we're going to do is everybody go back to your desk, make up a whole bunch of
In
hilarious.
reality, you were thick as Steve. I thought that's what you said originally, and then I was
thick as-
confused until I realized
gross.
what you said.
Weird conversation. Anyway, hey,
Two thick scoops.
you sat up for that. You took the 3-foot journey from Greenback for that.
but yeah, so we decided that the office rules were everyone could make up as many weird names as they wanted and throw them in a paper bag, and then each person playing had to pick one name, and it was enjoyable.
It was very fun.
To mask. I
The
didn't.
name-
Jake, I
were
think you,
horrible.
but you came up with the best name,
Phaedrus?
and that's not just because you're my friend.
Lieutenant Olaf von Space Face Ace.
Yes, that was very good.
Yeah, that's
It
all right.
just fit the
Space
character.
face ace.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Olaf von Spaceface Ace,
Yeah,
who was my nemesis and is now my my ally.
I thought you were going to say boss.
my
is
boss.
now my boss.
What was that from?
Like a mouse. Anyway,
Don't worry about that.
See you later.
Saturday Night Live.
I've heard it. I didn't know.
It's stupid.
Go ahead.
It's fucking
It's good. It's
retarded.
funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we did that, and it was really great because you would instantly, all your diplomacy had to happen over the inbox, and everybody was super inbox driven. And I would say there's probably like 7 or 8 people who decided to just take on their personas, which sounds really lame, but was actually hilarious.
That's a really common thing I've noticed in
When you get, like,
Neptune's Pride.
Dracula
Is
out.
to really, it's to really role play like whatever weird thing they've arbitrarily created. It's really interesting. Like, and it always makes me really like. I don't ever do that.
We're just
in
like,
this game.
sweet, all right, here's range.
Well, yeah, no,
See you guys.
Yeah, people will write me these like 8-paragraph things,
Right.
of, like greetings from the empire of the noble race of the like
Zyplex. Yeah.
Zorgenforgians. We've noticed you are encroaching upon our space territory. Would like to propose a treaty, and they'll go on for just paragraph after paragraph, and then I'll just be like, "All right,
Yeah,
so
word, let's do this."
Do you want like a tech?" And I'll just
You
like,
want a tech?
I'll reply with like
Do you want a tech?
with like
It's
8 words, and I'm just like, I don't. Like, what do you want me to say to that? This is insane. But it's cool that some people do that, even if it isn't me.
Well, the mix is also kind of hilarious because, I don't know.
It's exactly what happened at Telltale. Was there would be certain people who would do that. Big, yeah, okay. You just send me like $50 and I'll shoot you over some range. Great.
Right. The Duke is pleased. Like, what?
This pleases the great race of the douche.
Yeah.
One guy
Sorry,
in
we
the
had
most
some
recent
hilarious
game I
names.
played went by the Margraviate of Brandenburg, which was badass. So that was cool.
Yeah, we had nothing.
He
that
died pretty quick
sophisticated.
though, so
Yeah, no. The names are fucking terrible in our game.
There's some good
Our
ones.
Are they
rules, I think,
vulgar?
for the next game, though, is that everyone has to write their own name into the bag.
And then you pull it.
So then we'll all just be playing under each other's names. So hopefully people will,
That's
will
really
role
good.
play
I'm
as other
so
people
jealous
in the
of you
office,
guys.
which is what I'm really hoping
That's
will
gonna be
happen.
hilarious. Because this game's about over. We're on like day 22.
You're winning, right?
Yeah.
Day 22?
Yeah.
It's not been 22 days.
It's been 22 days, dude.
Jesus.
Yeah. I have
My
60
life.
stars.
Time flies when you're playing Neptune's
But
Pride.
like I played the political game super hard.
Yeah.
Like that was my entire strategy was to just like, and now it's I mean, Nick.
Now Cindy is in the lead.
Hopefully, Nick Herman's not listening to this, but we've got to a point where I was like, Nick,
He listens to Idle Thumbs.
Oh shit, Nick, you're great. But I was
fucked.
going
But
to.
the carriers are on the way as you listen to this.
I was at one point you were going to destroy me, and I totally talked you out of it, and now I'm winning. Because it was also like the anonymity dissolved over the course. Like it took like probably 10 days.
We knew that was the case. It's kind of like you.
Yeah.
People say you put DRM in your game not to prevent piracy, but to prevent zero-day piracy. We drew names out of a hat so that
Prevent zero-day office politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to let people kind of have to reach out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I treated people.
Who's John Drake? It's
good
not John Drake.
Because I treated people differently in the inbox diplomacy system, much more differently than I would have had I known who they were. Which sounds terrible, but is completely true.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you have less of that personal connection that you immediately your brain can't help but jump to.
Right, it's just
well, even more
Zyplex.
so, the moment they respond to you, I'm like, oh, this is Carl. So I'm talking, I'm like, oh, Carl and I are tight. Like, I'm just gonna talk to him like it's Carl. And then it's not Carl.
Oh, shit.
Then it's fucking Dracula.
Yeah, then it's Dracula.
Anyway, games.
But yeah, it's a really, I like any game like that. And I mean, I came on here and made a joke about how I like Survivor as a TV show, but, and as a game, but I like any game that marries up almost 50-50 the kind of abstract political social game with sort of very pragmatic strategy and or physical, where you just have to like be faster or be smarter. And those two things together, it makes a perfect game for me.
The actual systems in Neptune's Pride are very simple. They're about as bare bones as you can get in the strategy world. But the like metagame layers have the potential to be huge. It's really interesting. I've had a weird curve with that game because the first game I played, which was the one I played with Nick and some other kind of internet kind
game
of game
bloggers
circle guys, was the most intense and eventually unpleasant experience I've had playing this game by the end. And I've now realized after playing 2 or 3 more games since then, mainly because of Nick, I now realized
why? What did Nick do?
Nick is the most competitive dude I know in games, and I know this because we play StarCraft together.
Yeah,
well, the beta's over now.
He's a master.
It's well, he's good. He's better than I am, but it's not even so much that. It's more just Nick loves to win strategy games.
Yeah.
Nick hates to lose strategy games a lot.
Yeah.
So he will go to like whatever length is necessary to ensure that happening. And so in Neptune's Pride, we were allied for the whole game. And
did you know?
I just took second place.
But you knew it was him.
Yeah. We were personally allied, like because we knew each other. It was the exact scenario people worry about with you and Jake.
Except that I'm shit at that game.
Yeah,
Jake's really bad at Neptune's Pride.
Well, that's not surprising.
So invite him to your game and defeat him.
I did really well at the beginning, but then I spread myself too thin, and then my galaxy was eaten away. I have 1 star left.
I have a question for you about Neptune's Pride when you're done.
Okay. But yeah, so that game with Nick was just because Nick was fucking cutthroat. Like that guy was playing every angle, like just exploiting every advantage he could find. Like it was intense. I would find myself constantly checking the game all day.
For example, just kind of like he'd take an inch, like, oh, I'm just gonna take the
would
star. Don't worry about it. Or like,
he would make people the most exploitative deals, and then go back on them and be like, oh yeah, dude, we'll be cool. It'll be cool. Like we'll trade some stuff. We'll be allies. It'll be great. We want to. And then like he will just take some of their stars and they'll be like, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, sorry, no, I don't know. Here, how about this? I'll just take a few more and then we'll be cool. We'll be good. And they'd be like, I guess so. Like, and Nick was like he was like in an abusive relationship with everyone in that game. Except for me. And he probably would have been with me if I actually tried to, like, usurp his sort of like
one star had been taken.
Ordained like first place finish. Like, I don't know. It was really weird. It was a weird experience.
And he won.
Oh, he totally fucking won. And I had like,
did it creep you out?
Between the two of us, we had like every star in the game at the end.
Did it make you feel differently about Nick?
No, not at all. Because we just went back to playing StarCraft and it was really fun. Because in StarCraft, we're just straight up on the same 2v2
Did it feel kind of gross?
I think if I were in his position, it would have felt gross because he had to do some seriously like deceptive shit.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know if I don't really have it in me to be that much of a backstabber.
So you'll never rule a galaxy.
It's funny because the game does bring that out of you.
Like, but just like clearly. Observing him do these things, did it make you be like,
and sort of being part of that. We also never for the entire game acknowledged we were in an alliance. We never actually formed an alliance officially in the game system. So it took people actually an extremely long time to realize we were in one. And that was also exploited
weird. Those
heavily.
2 Idle Thumbs guys are playing on the same team.
Well, but
Well,
see, they all
because
also
Jake
thought they were
disabled
allied
that.
with Nick, and like, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Like, it was weird.
Jake disabled official allies, which I thought was really interesting.
It's interesting to have it there because then you can
especially
have
because when you're in the same office, because then it's like we are in an alliance, and I know who you are.
Yeah.
So I just like casually get up from my desk, walk past John Drake, and just down the hall, and I like wrap my knuckle on the back of Nick Herman's door. I'm like, yo, you got a second? Can I look at your map? I mean, because I know you can see his star system. I just want to know what his home star was.
right.
So
that
it's
does
like,
add an even weirder.
yeah.
element
There's
to
like
the
I don't
game.
need to have that alliance to see what his scanning range.
That's
can
like
see.
that's like
I can just go to his
encrypted
console.
channels. Like other people in the star system don't realize you're communicating.
Like we had people because
It's like encrypted channels.
most of Telltale is in a pit. It's just like any developer, it's just flat, and you can go to anybody's computer and like people can see whatever I'm doing all the time. And I apologize, but we had people create other games that they would just get into social games or get into free games, like this dummy games, because they didn't want you to come by their desk and see
Decoy
that
games.
Yeah, it was pretty like Tully did that. Like that, I thought that was like bold. That was a really smart move. He's
That's
like, no, I got like 4 games going. You didn't even know which one this is. I don't know which one this is. It was really good.
That's really good. He just have doctor a screenshot of one.
We also
where
make
he
video
just
games.
controls
I
the
have
entire
time.
Look, this one I'm the best.
It's actually just his wall. It's just his wallpaper.
Yeah, I can see the desktop icons over that. Like, shut up.
You're actually you're wiring that level right now, so I don't know why. Interesting.
Yeah, the like physical interplay, like the physical space of this game all existing in one office makes it sound way more interesting than it
right.
probably
You'll
would
just
be.
hear people be like, so I'm going after Dracula. And there's, who do you know who Dracula is?
Yeah.
No, but he's going down. I'm like, what?
I like what it must be for the non-Neptune's Pride players in the office. Do you know who Dracula is? No, man, I'm trying to
Well, the worst is that it's like, who's Deputy Director Douche? And like, oh, there's some names that I'm not even going to say on Idle Thumbs because I'll have to admit.
Ooh, like what?
What?
Like Princess Meatflaps.
That's
Who is being played by Bonnie?
so we have a customer service
A
woman,
customer service person,
Bonnie, who's a
She's like, oh yeah, I'll play this game.
She's like a mom of the
And then
entire
she draws.
studio.
Yeah, but then she revealed that she wrote that one.
And we're always gonna like,
Oh, Jesus.
God, Bonnie's.
I hadn't heard that. I heard that she got it, but I didn't.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
revealed that way later.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
Yeah, there's some good-
so
Good stories. Good
Speaking of-
stories
speaking
coming
of
out.
Nick
But
Herman?
I am
Oh.
playing. I am finally. I actually just won my first game of Neptune's Pride.
congratulations, you control the galaxy.
Yeah, no, it was actually. It was
does that
also
sound?
until the end when it always gets intense in every game. Until that point, it was the most laid back game of Neptune's Pride I had yet, and it was basically because I just played like the United States in World War II and just waited until the absolute last moment to get involved in any real conflict. Like I would just sort of. Guys
then
would
just
give
Normandied
up
it
and leave because they knew they were going to lose, and then I'd grab some of their stars. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but I
interesting.
wouldn't actually.
So you were Steve playing Deadly Premonition,
Right,
And then
yeah.
just rolling in with like, oh, also
Yeah.
I've been accumulating all this stuff because I've just been sort of
Yeah. And
waiting
then
around.
once all of
Murder.
a sudden, like I was allied with this one other guy, and then there were 3 other players allied against us, assuming us 2 were allied, which we were. And eventually, at a certain point, they were right about to attack me, and this was like that moment in time that crystallized the future. Like for some reason, due to some weird like perceptions that shifted, all of a sudden they just focused fully on attacking my ally instead of me. And at that point, I just went totally hands off. And this turned in like the thing about Neptune's Pride is it creates fucking blood feuds. Like once you start getting into a prolonged
right. You'll just
You
murder
can, it
all
can get
ships.
so
You-
entrenched,
and you get pissed.
So,
You get so because you'll think you made a good move, and then you'll wake up the next morning and you just lost 5 more stars because they got you in the middle of the night, and you get like personally furious at these people.
Have you done that by the way? Where you set the alarm for like 3:15 in the morning?
I've never set an alarm. I've definitely never set an alarm, but I definitely
Shut
had
up, I'm
situations
gonna win.
where as soon as I got out of bed, that was the first thing I did. I had that when I was playing with Nick. This game, I didn't really because I paid really close care not to
I was like
get
a
in
Da
those
Vinci
situations.
sleep. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Carry on.
And so I was like watching this, and it was fascinating because these people were going at it like much longer than it was in their interest to do so, right? Like at a certain point, they should have just started attacking me or someone else or something, but it was just they were so, I mean, I'm putting words in their mouth. Like, I mean, this is how
They were
it looked.
idiots.
This is how this is how it appeared from my perspective, right? Is that they just got locked into this situation where they just couldn't. It was like the point of no return, and they basically just ate all of each other alive. And then I basically marched in at that point and just started rolling over everything.
It's so funny. It's such a different strategy than anybody has had in our like. Bonnie, actually, of all people, had 1 star left,
and they're probably all listening to this.
That nobody wanted to go after.
Sorry, guys.
No, it'll be over by whenever this comes out.
Well, I mean, the one that I played, they were all.
Oh, those people. Suckers. Yeah, too bad, guys. But
Chris thinks you're all fools.
Yeah, God, you guys are retarded.
Everyone was really nice.
Noobs.
We had the customer service woman Bonnie, who didn't really understand
the customer service woman.
I don't know how to describe her. I mean, a friend. Like she's very friendly.
Customer service friend.
The human being, the non-gendered human being.
No,
Nerd.
she's like
Her name's Bonnie. Whatever.
She
man.
sits between, like, kind of you and I. Like Jake and I sit kitty corner to each other, and she has to like if I say, Jake, this fucking sucks, or you're a douche. Like she is transmitting that. Like she has to hear
through her ears.
Yeah,
her ear canal.
But she had one planet with like 100 with 100 dudes on it left. Yeah. Like, but she was her only star. But her home star just sat there with 100. And she's like, I don't really know what else to do. I'm not really good at this game. I don't understand it. But she's just like accruing like 100. And then I'm looking at the next day, and she's like 106. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! There's like 100. She's got 110 guys, 110 little mans on this planet. They can do some damage. So I had to like take Bonnie aside and be like, hey, Bonnie, I know you haven't logged in for like 2 days, but I need you to do something for me. Like, and I gave her like a whole talk, and I was like, you like want to go to coffee or something? Like, you can talk this over. Like, I was
applying her.
Yeah, like I sent her, like I ended up sending her like $150, which is 6 upgrades of tech.
Did you also give her anything in the game?
What do you mean? No. I gave her $150 so I could win this game.
Uh-huh.
It's very important to
me. She could buy 25% of a PlayStation 3 4 years ago.
Yes, or half of one today.
Right.
Or 75% of a new iPhone next week. Anyway. And she ended up sending them towards my enemy after, like, I had to butter her up and, like, really, like, be like, come on, like, I need you to just log in and, like, maybe we'll just move some guys and I'll show you how to do this. And it's great. It's so good. But, like, being able to manipulate, sorry, Nick, a bunch of people in the office to your will in a fictional setting.
Has this affected your development, like,
only because I'm not on projects with them.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't think I'm on I mean, you and I are on the same project, but, like, whatever. You're an asshole, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm looking at Jake. I'm looking at Steve.
Just for the record, that was Sean Famous Vanaman saying that, not me, readers.
Yeah, but we're friends. Jake, we're high-fiving right now. Now we're hugging.
All right, anyway.
Oh, what are you doing now? Oh, no. Stop that.
Gross.
Should we stop talking about Neptune's Pride now?
Yeah, sorry,
I think
guys.
we're done talking
If anybody is not interested in Neptune's Pride had to listen to this, I apologize.
We do, though, have Nick Breckon here to talk about Hearts of Iron 3.
Nick, oh, hey.
Hey, Nick Breckon.
Hey, Nick Breckon.
Wait, let's listen to Nick.
And I'm Nick Breckon.
Oh, it's Nick, so he doesn't have a lot to say.
Oh! I don't really know Nick.
You don't have anything to do with it.
You were never on the same podcast.
Actually, I'm
Nick.
gonna go. Let's grab like a beer or something while Nick is here.
Hey guys, thanks.
Oh, hey Nick, what's up?
You're welcome.
All the way back from Bethesda.
Cool.
Here to talk about a video game.
Sweet. Great.
What video game, Nick?
Hearts of Iron 3. It's by Paradox, the guys that make Victoria and all those other AAA games.
Yeah.
You may have heard of Hearts of Iron 3. It's while you were
available
clicking
for
around
Mac.
on the Steam store and
Steam Store.
and maybe you accidentally clicked on a button that you didn't mean to and there it was and maybe you saw a lot of numbers and you went, I don't know if that's a game that I can play. There aren't a whole lot of graphics. But I if you are a big fan of strategy games, I would definitely recommend it. It's a World War II game.
I'm leaning back.
Like all great video games. It's probably the most technically impressive strategy game I've ever played. It models everything.
What?
Everything? No.
Yeah. Anyway, actually, probably the funniest part. When it first loads, it takes forever, and while it's doing the whole the SimCity thing, where it's reticulating splines and loading. Actually, one of the messages is adapting history. Which
It doesn't really
great.
adapt
But then
history.
over top of all of this is this horrible MIDI recreation of Flight of the Valkyries, and it's terrible. And then also it feels incredibly
It's like flying toasters.
incredibly terrifying, because you know that you're about to get destroyed by this game and its crazy spreadsheet of doom.
That sounds like my kind of game.
Steve Gaynor.
Steve, you hate this
is
game.
born for Hearts
Steve
of
just
Iron
sat up
III.
to hear that. I know, right?
It is funny.
Right? Yeah.
What? Wait, what was that last thing you said?
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what saves it though? What makes it playable?
I was just gonna
because
ask you what
it's the
saves
kind of game that it's like a class.
Well, now you don't
you
know.
sit there, and I had the free strategy guide and the manual on my left monitor, and the game on my right monitor,
is dorky.
and
That's really sounds. Like
I didn't
my
really
kind
have
of
the
thing.
courage to hit unpause for probably 3 days. You know, I just sat there staring, kind of just incredibly intimidated, reading about things like how the weather affects a specific battle, barometric pressure flying at this time of night is better for the B-17, and all this crazy
Jesus.
shit
Video game?
that you don't really need to know to just start in, but it is like a class. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And so, you know, when I did eventually hit on pause, the thing that I learned was that really it's a game of doling out specific responsibilities to the AI, and that's
So
what
it's like
saves
being
it
a boss.
from becoming this
Quite
insane,
like being a boss.
complex game that you can never break into. You have control over whether you want the AI to handle almost every facet of the game, right on down to, say, you're playing as the United States and you don't want to deal with the war in the Pacific. You can say, okay, Commander so and so, you handle the war in the Pacific.
MacArthur.
I'm going to just micromanage the invasion of France, and the units will pretty reliably coordinate invasions, defenses, all based on your direction. And in that way, it really acts as a pretty accurate simulation of what it's like to be a world leader at that time. I mean, one example is that I was playing as the United States, and it was about 1939, I think, and Germany was invading Poland and taking over
Like
the
they
world.
do.
And every country has a neutrality rating and a threat rating. And so, as the United States, Germany's threat rating was sort of medium-ish. It wasn't that high yet, and my neutrality rating was off the charts, which is of course historically accurate.
It was
But I hadn't done
neutral.
anything to try and affect that. I didn't have Hoover, intimidating the populace or anything like that. So, I had a big problem. I couldn't go to war, and for about 2 years, I was pulling my hair out because I had
been
all
playing
these
this game for
bombers
2
and
years.
hundreds of thousands of
Almost
reserve
as long.
troops just sitting around, and I couldn't enter the war because my population wouldn't allow it. And that to me is really what makes a great
I
strategy
like the
game,
population of the
is
country
the
just not
drama.
letting you play
I mean,
the video game.
those little
Hands is like,
moments
"No, you can't
where
start
you're
yet."
playing out something that, albeit on a much less serious scale, something that happened historically, or events that are similar to things that happened historically.
IRL.
And you're being put through the same scenarios
Obviously.
that somebody else had to deal with. It
FDR.
really, I think
I will go to Korea.
the dramatic element of strategy games is kind of is something that a lot of people don't think about, but to me it's more effective often than dramatic content in say shooters or other genres of games.
Shooters, Steve. They suck. Really, that's fascinating. So what was the name of the game again?
Hearts of Iron 3.
God damn it.
Yeah.
That is the correct name.
So I think it's while it is incredibly complex, once it clicks that you can use the AI to your advantage and simplify the game to the sort of degree of difficulty that you can handle, it becomes fairly manageable. And I think anybody that looks at this
Willing
game
to
as or
measure
games like it
barometric
as
pressure.
sort of the Mount Everest of strategy games, should give it a try, because it's not that challenging, particularly if you do your homework.
What?
And
The past
read the
5
damn
minutes of just-
manual, which if you like strategy games, you should be used to. So, in any case, I've got to go back to Bethesda and make some more video games. But I'll catch you later.
Hey, it was
See you,
really
Nick.
good talking to you, Nick.
Congrats, Nick.
Hopefully we can meet
Fuck
sometime.
you, Nick.
So that was the
Nick.
first time in all of Idle Thumbs that Nick Breckon was allowed to tell a complete story or finish a complete thought uninterrupted.
Well, I wouldn't say uninterrupted.
Oh, yeah, that's
But
true.
I mean, he was able to soldier on.
He got to the end.
Yeah,
so
That's true.
congrats, Nick.
I actually do have to. I actually do
Fuck
want to say,
Nick.
like, sort of agree briefly with tape-recorded Nick Breckon about a thing he mentioned.
That was real, Nick.
I don't know
He
if it
flew
fully.
back.
Whoa.
I don't know if that part
Nick
fully
Eric,
came through, but
walking out.
he was basically talking about how strategy, even though these days, like when people talk about immersion, they generally talk about sort of being actually in a like real-time immersive situation where you're a character in a world doing like physical actions to things. I agree that a lot of the most effective and interesting and like narratively fulfilling moments in games can be in strategy games, as particularly historical strategy games, when you are put in situations that have resonance because they happened in our world or didn't. And you understand like when certain things happen because the game systems actually cause them to happen and simulate them in such a way that you're like, oh my God, this is why this actual thing that happened 60 years ago happened. It's because these factors interplayed with each other in this system that was like the global, military political situation of the time. And
So it's like a class.
it's kind of like a class,
the more you put
but
into it.
Oh, well, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we all meant.
You guys need to just lay off Nick Breckon. Just saying.
But yeah,
There's also,
I
there's
do-
a time investment thing that I think allows you like to have an emotional connection to a strategy game that I find like
Did you just hurt your eye by opening it too wide at
Yeah,
me?
I've stared at you for too long for making fun of Nick, and then my eye dried out a little bit.
But like I was playing Civ 4 my iPhone of all places, but I was playing a more like long form game that I just was like, this would be really cool to play Civ 4 for like a month on my iPhone, like just on bus rides and whatever.
wait, Civ Rev or Civ?
Oh, Civ Rev. That's what I meant on my
okay.
iPhone. Sorry. And I was like on a bus at like 2:30
Hardly
in the
Civ.
morning with my roommate.
Yeah.
And like I'm sitting there just kind of staring at my iPhone, and then he sees me go, "Oh, fuck the fucking Mongols, man!" And then like two people turn around on the bus, got this like crazy homeless guy in the back with an iPhone screaming about the Mongols, and I was like, "What's the deal, man?" I was like, "Dude, I've been fucking these guys for 2 weeks, man, 2 fucking weeks." And like I was like, you get an emotional reaction to kind of like 'cause you have a long form investment in whatever sort of thing you're trying to accomplish in the game that I think is like narratively really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the reason
like,
is
I like telling those stories, so like that's good.
I agree with you. And I think that particular emotion is more common in the less historically accurate strategy games and more in the blank slate ones, of which Civ is one. Because Civ isn't about like an actual realistic path of history.
Yeah.
It's about
It's not what the Mongols
a
actually
100% alternative history. And
Well,
Neptune's
they flew to space, so...
but Neptune's Pride is the same way. Like, because it is such a blank slate and everyone starts basically on the same blank playing field,
space.
the game isn't asserting anything. Like when you
It's a sequel
like
to Civ, actually.
when you play a first person shooter or a third person action game or whatever, the game itself is asserting things about these different players in the world, these NPCs and you and everything else. Like the game is deciding this happens here, like this system governs where this guy spawns because of this, and like this fits into this narrative this way. Whereas in a blank slate strategy game like Neptune's Pride or Civilization or something, that shit just emerges because it does. Like there's nothing, it hasn't been tipped to resolve one way and put you through any particular narrative or even branch of narratives or anything. Like when something happens, when you end up in that war with the Mongols, it's not based on anything other than just whatever factors, be they random or not, like have conspired to make this game end up here. The fucking Mongols have been kicking your ass. Like, and I mean, that to me is really interesting. And it's kind of unique to strategy games. I don't know of any other, what?
It's magical.
It's
It's
magical.
magical.
It is
not
magical,
so
yeah.
interesting as it is magical.
That's true. It is more magical than interesting. But yeah. And then Hearts of Iron is more on the other kind of end of the strategy spectrum, where it's putting you in a particular historical like context, that actually happened, and then saying, what would you do here? And you can affect those events, but a little bit more within. It's almost more of like, how would you deal with this if this actually happened? Whereas Civ is like, anything can happen. What happens next? We'll see.
This is a weird question to ask, but this is the way Nick described it while he was with us.
Yeah.
Made the interaction density seem really low, like him waiting to get into the game and things like this.
I think you can. I think you can ratchet up how I haven't played it yet myself, but I plan to now after talking to Nick about it. You can
on this podcast.
Well, yeah, also off it, but you can ratchet up and down how much the AI does stuff. So you can micromanage every single thing in the game if you want, or you can offload a lot of it to your AI, like generals and stuff, and just focus on the particular things you're interested in.
Yeah.
And a game like Total War series is kind of like that also.
I think what's interesting about the dynamic that you're talking about was sort of like having different levels of investment or like different kind of your own alignment with different factions in like a strategy game. You know, like the Mongols, you know, it is just a process of kind of personifying, like you were saying, sort of a blank, an otherwise blank slate faction for what they happen to have done in your game.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, those guys are assholes, and it's just because the AI was like being really aggressive with that particular faction in that particular game. And I think that is something that is most common in something like a strategy game where the level of abstraction is pretty high, you know, like you're pulled out really far and it's almost a numbers game entirely, you know, but like I'm interested in that phenomenon in the, you know, the sort of other side of direct control games where like it feels like you could have a very similar kind of feeling of like personal connection with those kinds of groups if you were playing a game that was like, you know, some kind of I'm a dude in a world and there were a number of different factions that had no authored like kind of role in the world, like inherently, because kind of like you were saying, you play one of these games and these guys are the bad guys and these guys are your friends and these guys are the civilians that are being attacked by the bad guys or whatever. It seems like you could have an interesting kind of experience if it was almost more like, you know,
built out of The Sims or something.
Well, I mean, even if it was just like sort of set up like Yojimbo or something, where it's sort of you're just a dude and you're thrown in the middle of X number of factions that may have alignments towards each other or whatever, but they have no inherent alignment towards you. And so now your relationship with them is based on your own actions, you know? It seems like you can scale that sort of, you know, feeling that you're talking about. It's more a question of just not being in as deterministic of a world for like you were saying, these guys are going to be your friends or whatever, you know?
It's, I think that's always going to be tougher though, the less abstract you get. You know what I mean? Like,
probably.
I think one of the things that makes it possible more facilitated in a strategy game is that you can see the bigger picture kind of. Like you're more likely to see like the sweep of how this stuff turns out as opposed to like individual actors within the world. Like anyway, whatever. We don't have to get too deep into this, but yeah, I would be really curious to see someone try to apply those principles to a game that was pushed in further. It'd be interesting.
You know, it's like, just kind of resource control and everything. The same sorts of concerns you have in a strategy game.
Yeah, I mean, Eve Online. Online is kind of like that
in a way. Yeah, except everybody. There aren't any AIs in that game, right? Everybody. Is
I don't think so.
Dude,
but it's the same thing. I mean, no one comes in and it's like your job is to kill these guys. It's join up with whoever you end up joining up with.
Yeah.
You guys may be done talking about games for today.
Probably.
Oh! I played a game though that I want to talk about.
No, you didn't.
I mean, I did, but we'll talk about it next time.
What did you?
I mean,
let's hear it.
You guys haven't played it. Nobody knows about it.
What? No one?
What game?
It's a secret game.
It's only
a
you
small,
know about
like,
this
I
game.
don't know. It's like a little indie thing.
What is it?
It's really played. I don't know. You guys might...
Mass Effect 2.
Halo. Yeah.
No.
Get it? See, we made
Well, I don't
that
know.
joke?
I mean,
What
you guys
the hell
might have played
game
it.
is
I
it?
don't know if you guys have talked about
Say
it.
it.
Why don't you tell us?
Say it.
You hyped this the fuck up now, so it better be amazing.
Are you doing this on purpose now? What game are you playing?
I was just going to say Far Cry 2.
Video games.
I like that anytime I would be on the podcast, it's the Eve of the Ides, or we do the Ides minus or plus, or whatever we need to do.
All right, fine,
I think we've done it on straight up Ides before.
Okay, are you guys fucking ready?
Fucking legit Ides.
Ides.
Straight up Ides.
Yeah.
Straight
Ides.
up Ides. Straight Ides. Oops, all Ides.
I used oops all something. I used the phrase in a design meeting. I used the phrase "oops, all side quests," and our lead designer, who I don't think has been exposed to any of the origin of that or anything, just like picked it up immediately. He was like, even if it was "oops, all side quests," that wouldn't solve the problem.
You realize you're referencing a spin-off of a serial
From 1993.
Be sure to include all that horrible stuff about baby autopsies.
No, there's a line even for idle thumbs.
I don't know if there's a line.